Hey, what is going on, guys? Hex Competitive back again today with a brand new video. As always, down in the title below will be the top we're talking about today. So, Grimoire F-Zero, and can I just say, yes, Studio White Fox. What did you expect? And yes, it's the first episode, but I'm telling you right now, I think this show will be the real deal. And I kept asking that about ReZero because Studio White Fox made ReZero too. They also made Steins Gate. And I think they may have made Guilty Crown. Don't quote me on that one, though. But yeah, they make some pretty good shows. They're like a private school of anime. They only take what they want, and they're really picky. I mean, this is their first anime of the year. This is their first. They didn't do anything in spring from what I saw. So that's just how they are, right? They're really picky. They have set staff. They don't bring in freelancers and shit like that. They are very picky about what they do. So let me, dive into what this show is about. So basically, this show is about. It takes place in like a medieval time, and it's about. There was a holy war in the past, right? And it's people who hated witches, and basically people who were part of the church and or religious, and they hated witches, and. Of course, witches hated them, and anyone that was deemed a sorceress and or a witch would be, be put on the stake and burnt alive, just like, real life modern times, right? That's just what they did. They hate each other. So now it has this narrative of they still hate witches, and witches are hunted, and witches hunt other humans and stuff like that. They simply just don't get along. But the thing that's right there in the intermedium, like right in the middle, is called Beast Fallen. And this is the interesting part of the story that I actually really liked throughout the rip of the show. And that was the simple fact that Beast Fallen derived from, well, plain and simple, simple humans. It doesn't matter if there's not like a half beast, half human. But that's what Beast Fallen are, though. They're half human, half beast, but they can derive from people who are both human. It's due to witches and or sorceresses who implant the spirits of animals within them. And they did this because they wanted to build an army. And of course, this would have it can have a really bad falling out because, well, they're Beast Fallen, they have a mind of their own, and of course, if their mother or father aren't witches, and they didn't implant, the spirit of an animal within them, then they're not necessarily going to follow suit with what witches wanted. So now we see witches hunting Beast Fallen, and Beast Fallen hunting witches as our main male character is a Beast Fallen, and we see how his parents are most definitely humans. He is a tiger. Can I, kind of add, I love his character design. I really do love his character design. It's just so freaking cool. I love it, man. I mean, I'm just glad Studio White Fox is back in the game, and they're doing. I think they need to stick to the fantasy genre because they are damn good at what they do. Clearly. Now then, our Beast Fallen actually meets a witch called Zero, and can I add, the comedy of the show is really good. I love it. Like, literally, he asks, he hates witches too himself, the Beast Fallen does. He's like, wait, so are you a witch? And she turns around and announces herself to him, and you just see him running. Classic. I love it. The comedy throughout it. Whenever he wakes up and she's sleeping on his belly. But let's actually get into the Witch of Zero now. So the Witch of Zero is she was basically I don't know where she derived from, where she lived or resided per se, because we see a cave. That's all we really see. And she's looking for this man called 13, and he's looking for this book actually called the Grimoire of Zero, which her name is Zero, and she is the one that actually made this book. And apparently this book has the power to destroy the world. And Zero actually goes on to ask our fallen beast and our Beast Fallen to accompany her on her journey to find not only the book, but 13. And of course, he doesn't want to do that because he hates Beast Fallen, and he simply hates he hates witches, excuse me. The Beast Fallen hates witches simply because he's always rejected. He was always rejected. Well, he's always been rejected, and it's due to them. It is because of witches did this to him. They put spirits of animals inside of people, and it's kind of like a stereotype. He's part of the witch. He has the witch's magic in him. Therefore, maybe he's not necessarily a witch, but he might as well be a witch. And they treat him. They even try to kill him. We see that people like him are hunted. So it's really predator versus predator in this world. We see witches hunting Beast Fallen hunting witches, humans hunting both, right? Beast Fallen and or witches. And that's something that I really do like about the story. But of course, he does not want to go on this journey because of that, right? He wants nothing to do with her. He keeps trying to leave, actually. And she actually says, I really am a witch, right? I mean, if I wasn't, I couldn't see through that beast leaving and or levin. Not really sure how they pronounce it. It could be pronounced either way. But I couldn't see through that beast levin, And he's like, wait, what? You can see my human face, you can see my human body. She's like, yeah. She's like, long ago, and that's where she goes into, long ago it was, said that witches would put the spirits of animals inside of people. And of course, right there, he's like, oh shit, you got my attention. Because now he's finding a way out of this world that despises him, this world that rejects him. And I love that our main male character, I love that that's how, that's why he goes on this. And it gives him characterization too, because it shows his thought process immediately. And I'm wondering, even if he becomes a human, I mean, it really makes me think, because it's like, if he becomes a human, then he's going to see the witch's standpoint. Now he's a human, and he shouldn't be hated by anybody, right? He's the thing that everyone wants to be, per se. And I think it's going to lead to, like, him opening his eyes and saying, hey, sorcerers, witches, whatever you want to call them, they're not necessarily bad people. They're on the they're on the same end of the stick that I was whenever I was a beast fallen. So I'm really wondering if that's how he's kind of, going to kind of be, where he's kind of like, we shouldn't be stereotyping or kind of like being racist per se towards witches. They are who they are. It doesn't mean they're bad and or good just because they're who they are. You can't group, one bad apple with the rest. Doesn't mean the rest of the apples are going to be bad too. You know what I mean? And I'm really wondering and or hoping it goes down that route, because it'd be really cool to see that. And now I wanted to go into like the whole magic versus sorcery kind of spectrum, because they actually are deciphered to be two different things. And basically what I got from this episode was sorcery is basically someone who has to write incantations before they cast their magic, and someone who uses magic, it's just someone who has to chant their incantations, really is how I get it. Because we see that there's a witch, a sorcerer, that attacks Zero, and, she's kind of like, hey, you think this magic is going to work on me? And right there, whoa, how does that person know magic, right? That instantly grabs our attention, and she's like, how do you know this? How do you know this magic? And he's like, well, this group of sorcerers taught me it, and so right then and there we know that the Grimoire of Zero, or the book of Zero, what Zero wrote, it's in the wrong hands, or information about that book it's getting out. And she even states that one single chapter out of the many chapters there could destroy the world. And I'm thinking there could be about 13 chapters or so or more, because Zero, the book of Zero, it could be chapter 0, chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. I'm really wondering if that's the route they're going, because why are their names numbers? Maybe each witch actually wrote a chapter, right? And maybe just chapter 0 is the one that's the most significant. It's really what I'm wondering about this show. And so and we see how strong Zero is. She's like, my knowledge, how long I've been messing with the magic, don't underestimate me. And we see that she instantly sits that other sorcerer down, even though he has read the book of Zero. So we clearly see that you have to be very knowledgeable of the book. You have to be practicing your magic continuously, and in order to even compare yourself to Zero. Obviously, we see that she is head and shoulders above. I mean, witches magic, there's not like there's guns. There's not like there's other kind of magical, kind of powerful powers in the show. So if you are a witch and or magic, you are on top of the food chain when it comes to predator versus predator, right? So I loved this first episode, but at the same time, it's Studio White Fox. What do you expect? It's Studio White Fox. What do you expect? But as always, guys, you have been hexed. I hope you guys go check out this show, because this is a show that it could be that ReZero again. Not dare I say it. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm just saying it could. Okay, I'm gonna say it, but I'm just saying it could be on top of Spring in the end. ReZero wasn't supposed to, but guess what? It was. Guess what? It was almost Anime of the Year. Guess what? It probably should have been Anime of the Year. Just saying. But as always, guys, you've been Hex. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at Hex25. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.